Polygon network. What a huge session this is. Of course, we're talking about redefining the blockchain landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Sandeep Nailwal is, well, where have you been in this crypto industry? Back in 2017, he saw the challenges of Ethereum, he saw the scalability problems, and he decided with his partners to come up with an interoperability layer 2 scaling solution for building this Ethereum-compatible blockchain known as Polygon. Of course, back then it was the Matic network. It's now known as Polygon. It is a huge project. It is a huge endeavor, and it is a huge achievement. This layer 2 scaling Ethereum solution, Polygon, has taken the world by storm, and it is a privilege to have Sandeep here with us on a South African platform. Please put your digital hands together. Get those questions ready in the Q&A for none other than Sandeep Nailwal. Sandeep, thank you for joining us. It's over to you.
Thank you so much, James, for such a nice intro. I'm very excited to be here. I think this is the first time I am, present in front of the South African community. So it's like really exciting for me. And, you guys are also doing great job, by organizing this event. About Polygon, about this event, so we have roughly 20-25 minutes. So let's divide it into two parts. Like first 15 minutes, I'll try to present some of my thoughts. And the next, next 10 minutes, we can actually, go for the Q&A. Okay, so let's start from my side. So from my discussion, I want to kind of first talk about what is Polygon, but then from there I want to go to the kind of the background that where exactly we are headed, and then where the whole community is going, and what does the future look like, and the role of Polygon in that, right? So basically, at the level of Polygon is basically a Ethereum scaling aggregator. Basically, you can very simply think that Ethereum is everybody in the Ethereum community is trying to scale Ethereum, and we are also very kind of hardcore Ethereum community members, and we are trying to scale Ethereum on the secondary layer. Like instead of there are teams who are trying to do Ethereum 2.0, which will provide some scalability on Ethereum layer 1. We are trying to provide that scalability on the secondary layer. Now, the first question, obvious question would be that why do we need secondary layer scalability if people are trying to scale the layer 1 itself? So the answer to that is this is commonly asked in the form that why do we what will be the need of Polygon when ETH 2.0 comes? So the fundamental point over there is that even if Ethereum, assume that ETH 2.0 fully scales, and ETH 2.0 is expected to have 64 shards, and one shard is nothing but a single chain. The current chain that we have, think of it like Ethereum will have 64 such chains, and each of those chains will be interconnected and sort of will host these applications. Now, today we are at the very starting stage of this Web3 revolution, where now, on a global scale, if you see, we still have hardly 100 million to 120 million people who have interfaced with crypto in some form. It is still a very, very small part of basically the world population, and we expect these enterprises, these big companies, startups, Web2 startups, which have millions and millions of users, to come into Web3. So this revolution is just getting started, and the number of transactions that are required, or the bandwidth or the block space that is required for all these people to come is absolutely huge. So even if each 2.0 on the layer 1 fully scales and provides 64 shards, this is still 64x scalability from there at the best. And nobody like fully believes right now that we are definitely going into sharding mode or not. Some people believe that Ethereum layer 1 will simply scale into proof of stake, and then it will provide some more bandwidth on this block layer, and this will exist as a settlement layer, and the scalability will come from layer 2. So that's why, like, even if, but I'm saying the best case scenario where each 2.0 comes in full glory with 64 shards, that scalability is also not enough if we want the whole world to come into Web3. We need like probably 1000x, or even 10,000x scalability from here for the whole world to come into it, and keep coming into it even more than that. So our thesis is that Ethereum layer 1, no matter how much scalable it is, the layer 1, not Ethereum layer 1, any layer 1, and I believe that Ethereum will be the ultimate layer 1. They will need a strong layer of decentralized decentralized node kind of topology, node architecture, globally spread out, so that there no single party can control this, and it will be highly decentralized. And when it is highly decentralized, it will always have scaling issues. So the layer 1 will be extremely decentralized. Let's say this is Ethereum, and then the business activity will happen in the layer 2. Now, when the business activity, we expect the entire world's business activity to be on the layer 2. And then every business, like we have interacted, like today you guys know that Polygon is probably the most adopted blockchain platform by the developers, and we have spoken to thousands and thousands of such teams globally. And the key insight that we got from there is that each business has their own needs. Like enterprises need privacy and scalability both. Gaming don't need privacy, but they need very, very low cost transactions. The DeFi needs more security, and but slightly lesser transactions, lesser number of transactions, right? But retail DeFi, which is just picking up, that they also need almost gaming like very low transaction costs. So in a nutshell, all these businesses want different kinds of solutions, or different kind of blockchain platforms to work on. So the Polygon thesis is that, okay, the layer 1 Ethereum remains the emerges as the global settlement layer, and Polygon provides a spectrum of solutions, which has each solution has its own trade-off. That some of the solutions are highly decentralized, but then they will have slightly higher transaction cost and lower bandwidth, versus some of the transactions will be or some of the use cases will need slightly lesser decentralized blockchains, but then they need very, very low cost transactions and things like that. So Polygon is so now coming to the definition of Polygon is a aggregator for these secondary layer. I don't want to call it layer 2 because there's still a lot of debate about layer 2, but what exactly is layer 2, but I'm saying secondary layer scaling solutions for Ethereum, which are all these EVM chains connected back into Ethereum, which will emerge as the global settlement layer. And then business activity can remain on this layer, which is the Polygon layer. And that is the thesis that we are currently looking, that is emerging in the market, and Polygon is becoming more and more popular. Now, once we have this very base level philosophy sorted out, now where the world is moving, right? So at the end of the day, if you see what is happening, why Web3 is picking up this much traction, let's take a step back and let's go 300 years, 400 years back. Then the king was the ultimate authority, right? So king was the ultimate institution. Whatever he says is the law. Then we started having these democratic systems, and nation states started emerging and all that. And when nation states started emerging, there was no king. So, and they had to decentralize the power. So how to decentralize the power? They started creating these institutions. Like bank is an institution, companies are an institution, oil companies were an institution, and the automobile manufacturers were institutions, electricity producers are institutions. And now today with tech, Facebook and Google and Twitter of the world, they are institutions, and we interact. The our whole social fabric is built like the individuals interact with the institutions, right? And then what has happened in the with like social media in the last at least 20-30 years, like there have been so many exposed scams and kind of malicious practices from these institutions, and which previously when they were used to be on media, they used to always used to get suppressed, but with social media they can no longer be suppressed. And then today we know that institutions are involved in so many malpractices that nobody trusts globally. Nobody trusts institutions. Like the trust on institutions is at all-time low. So there is a need of different kind of technology, a different kind of internet, where we don't need to trust any institution. And that is what the web3 brings to the table. And users, more and more users who are getting interface into this revolution called web3, they are realizing that okay, this is the world they want to exist in. The Gen Z, they are crypto native. By default trust cryptocurrencies, trust crypto banks more than the traditional banks. And that is where the web3 is headed. And that's where we feel that whether it's games, whether it's banks, whether it's social products, social websites, social media, everything eventually is going to come to web3, where you will have trustless computation. Like on a larger level, it's trustless computation, and you will need that. And the goal of Polygon is to become the de facto platform for this trustless computation. Like compare that to, let's say, AWS, like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, which today provide you the kind of centralized execution environments. Polygon intends to become the platform where you have decentralized execution environments, and you can execute the sort of I mean, your business logic in a decentralized setting. And that is where web3 is becoming bigger and bigger. And in terms of giving you a kind of more information about where Polygon is going. Like Polygon has a proof of stake and plasma chain, which is very, very popular. Now Polygon recently announced Polygon SDK. I mean, the launch of Polygon SDK, which allows you to create these sovereign chains, which can connect with Ethereum, and you can have your own EVM chains. Then we also announced our Polygon Avail program, Avail chain, which is basically a data availability chain for layer 2. That's a complicated technical topic, but for any layer 2 you need to have data availability and dispute resolution. And data availability, because the roll-ups are trying to put all the data back into Ethereum. That's why the costs remain higher on that. So people are trying to create these separate data availability layers, where the costs are cost of running these roll-ups are much lower. So we are creating a general data availability layer, which is Avail. Similarly, on the zero knowledge side, we have announced very big expansion programs. We announced a $1 billion program. Out of that, we have already done announced two. Them was Polygon Hermes, which was an acquisition, which is still Switzerland-based team, one of the best people in the Ethereum community. Jordi Bellina, who's the leader of that project, he's a legendary Ethereum developer, and he was the first one who proposed zero knowledge rollups back in DevCon 2019. So we are very positive about their team. And then similarly, we are now in strategic partnerships with Ernst and Young, where we are working on the enterprise level solutions with them for these enterprises. Now, but there are two more initiatives which we have not announced yet, and they are even bigger on that scale. And like on those kind of products, once we announce, you'll realize that Polygon, after the announcement of these two protocols, also Polygon will, I'm pretty positive that Polygon will be one of the joint top one teams. Like I think Starkware team is really great, but Polygon would also be right at the top in terms of our technology capabilities. So that's there. And then our next year is full of these mainnets going live. And the fun part about Polygon is there are multiple mainnets. And the next 1 year, 12 months are going to be absolutely phenomenal for Polygon journey. And in terms of adoption, I think some of you guys who follow Polygon, you must know that Polygon is like the fastest getting adopted platform. Like many brands, big brands are launching on Polygon. Yesterday only another multi-billion dollar brand launched on Polygon. So it's like a very fascinating journey for us. We are working day in day out for this, and then that whole team is very motivated to kind of keep growing the leadership of Polygon and make it one of the top platforms in the world. So that's from my side, and then I would love to take Q&A questions from you guys. I think I have one question: how can we aim for Polygon chain if we have new existing ERC20 token? Okay, Rita. So yeah, I mean, it's very easy. Whatever smart contracts you have on Ethereum, you can have them on Polygon. And then for your ERC20 tokens, we have a simple bridge where your users can simply bridge those ERC20 tokens from Ethereum to Polygon. So it's very, very easy. And there are like 1,000+ applications who have done that. It's very easy. Okay, so any more questions, guys? I still have only one question. Let's wait for 1 minute. Actually, at what stage the fees is going to be reduced for unstaking of your Matic? So this is one issue because the staking happens on Ethereum. So because it's not dependent on Polygon, it's actually dependent on Ethereum only, and Ethereum gas fees remain very high. But we are trying to trying to bring in zero knowledge technology and all that, so that you can do them off chain. And then the using zero knowledge technology, we can batch the transactions, but it is going to take at least 6 months from there. So don't expect that to happen before 6 months. But again, that is not dependent on Polygon, that's dependent on Ethereum fees. Okay, and let me see for more questions. What is the adoption rate in Latin America? So this is in Latin America, we do have few projects who are building on Polygon, but definitely this is a great question, and that we don't have that much footprint in Latin America, and we are getting into some strategic partnerships now and hiring more from Latin America to increase our footprint. You are right that I mean we don't have that much adoption in Latin America, but I think blockchains as a whole, Latin America is not that big. But although Colombia and Venezuela, people are trying to do. I mean, when I say in terms of adoption, I mean developer adoption. I don't mean the end retail adoption. I'm sure, like with some of these Latin American countries trying to do like trying to bring in the cryptocurrency as official currencies, that adoption would be high, but the developer adoption is still pretty low overall. And as Polygon also, that's why like it has not been a geography where we have put too much focus, but now we are ramping up that focus, and we are doing a lot of stuff for Latin America and Africa. You guys will also be very happy for that. Like we are bringing in few big initiatives to support African teams and Latin American teams, and working with their governments to do some fun stuff related to like let's say the wildlife in Africa, and supporting the ground level education for the developers in Africa and all that. We are going to do a pretty large scale effort on that. You'll see soon. How far are you with the interoperability with other blockchains? So this question might have two parts. One is other blockchain means other layer one blockchains like Solana and Avalanche and all that. That Polygon natively, we never plan to do that. I mean, we are fully focused on scaling Ethereum. Right now, we don't have any plan for that, and we don't foresee ourselves doing that for a good amount of time, unless like somebody emerges as a clear winner. But I don't see that is going to happen. We are the first layer of defense over there. So So not with other layer 1 chains, but if you mean to say the interoperability, but then on the layer 1 also we are not doing it ourselves, but there are projects like wormhole and mover protocol and connects network and things like that. These interoperability protocol, Polygon is a decentralized network, so these interoperability platforms are connecting with Polygon, and then our users can use it. But natively we'll always be strongly connected with Ethereum. Then between about the interoperability between Polygon chains, because Polygon is also going to have multiple chains on that, like, again, these interoperability protocols are fully available. But apart from that, some of our zero knowledge teams are trying to build these zero knowledge proof in between these layer twos, so that the transactions and interoperability can be achieved between these chains. So there is a zero knowledge effort. There are already these interoperability protocols like hop connects, Biconomy, a mover, and wormhole and whatnot. And then on the third level, like, let's say we building something natively or integrating something natively like IBC and things like that, that right now is not our focus. Probably in 12 months from here might be our focus. Right now it's not our focus, because these chains still need to spring up, like, still very early days for that. How can contact Polygon for future joint activities? Our Telegram channel is the best place. Like, just join the official Polygon group, and then uh, you have my handle also. I am at the rate Sandeep Nailwal. If you are already doing a project, you can directly reach out to me on Telegram at the rate Sandeep Nailwal. I will connect you to the relevant team members. You mentioned education oriented. Do you have environment focused corporate social responsibility goals as well? The answer to that is yes. We are, like, it's still those education and overall, like, this is a Africa Web3 program that we are going to do, right? So it will involve all of these things also. We would want to have some local partners also over there, so social responsibility can also come in. Environmental friendliness is also very important over there, but that those plans are still being formulated. We definitely want to do that. How are more Polygon tokens brought into the system or distributed? I see CMC, there is 68% speculation, 10 billion. So yeah, so the total supply of Polygon is 10 billion tokens, and till now 68% of those tokens have been unlocked. That doesn't mean all of them are in the market. I think they all of them, like, around 50-55% are distributed. 12-13% are there. And then, how the existing tokens come into the market is they are distributed in the form of staking rewards. The team also, like, as founders also, we have taken, like, probably 30-40% of our unlock, and we still hold most of it. And then we also, like, some of the other tokens are also, like, founders need to unlock, but then we are most likely going to put it in back into staking, because we are very positive about Polygon's future. We're working day in day out. So that is how those tokens come into the market, for by staking rewards and the relevant unlocks for founders. These are the only two things: founders and treasury. All the treasury tokens are only meant to be spent on Polygon ecosystem growth. So only, I think, remaining 32%, only I think 8 or 9% is for the founders. Rest all goes into the either in staking rewards or into the Polygon treasury, which is only meant to be used for Polygon ecosystem. Nobody else can touch that. I think we have 2 more minutes. We can take one more question if there's anybody else. If there is no question, I want to also mention one more thing, that I was talking about the layer one. So the layer ones, when you, especially these days, like, a lot of layer ones keep saying that, oh, they'll be able to surpass Ethereum and things like that. But you always need to believe that, or need to understand that the layer one is a decentralization game. Let's say, imagine there was a layer one which is very, very centralized, and then 60% of the ecosystem builds on top of them. What are what are the traditional or the other community going to say who will be joining, Web3? What they would say that, that you guys started this whole resolution or revolution on the pretext of being decentralized, and then now your 60% of platform is built on some chain which is centralized. It's not going to happen. So for a smart contract platform, I think Ethereum is the farthest down the road for that decentralization, and community involvement. And then, like with Polygon, like projects which are building this secondary layer of scalability, Ethereum, we believe, will emerge as the ultimate settlement and default layer for security of these smart contracts, and the business activity will be on secondary. With that, I'll close my talk. Yeah.
Amazing, man. Absolutely amazing, Sandeep. I mean, just such a fantastic privilege to have you speaking to our audience. And, like I said before, what you guys are doing, building the solution with the Polygon network is incredible, man. So thank you so much. Where are you most active? On Twitter, a lot of founders find themselves so busy in the weeds, working day in, day out, that they don't get a chance to engage with the community. Is it Twitter for you, or is there somewhere else where you're more active?
Twitter and Telegram, I'm very active. Like, I respond to all of my messages on Telegram. So anytime anybody wants to reach out, they can reach out.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. All right. Well, Sandeep, thank you so much. I won't take up any more of your time. Any final closing comments from you?
No, I mean, my closing comments would be to you guys as a thanks to organizing this South African community, and I think it's very important that we work very hard for overall African communities to kind of educate them this revolution, which can really pull a lot of people out of the poverty and marginalization. So I think this technology makes much more sense and is much more important to the communities in the second world, third world countries, and all of us should do whatever we can to onboard the community into
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've had the privilege of visiting Delhi, and I know that you're originally from Delhi, and the similarities between South Africa and the likes of India, especially a metropolitan city like New Delhi, where you have such a great middle class, you have great wealth, but there's hand in hand with that, there is so much poverty as well. Crypto assets and blockchain allows for the decentralization of finance and to put the power back into the hands of the people, man. So well done to what you're doing, and I can't wait to see the rest of the roadmap unfold.
Absolutely, we are also equally excited.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, James.